Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be covering another Dead Matter update, which was posted on the 21st of November 2019. It's safe to say that this was a huge update with a lot of technical terminology that you may not understand without a bit of background in the subject areas discussed. So, I'll try my best to cut this down into manageable segments that are easier to digest and supply a link to the blog post in the description, so that you can have a look at the full version if you wish to do so. For those that haven't watched my other blog updates, this is simply an audio summary of the information you'll find in the original post. All my information comes direct from these posts, with a dash of speculation here and there. This serves as a resource for those that like to listen rather than read. This blog update opens with a message from Nick Z addressing the roadmap for Dead Matter. In a blog post in September, the team mentioned that they'd be looking to confirm in January of 2020 whether they'll be able to hit their planned release date for the closed alpha, which was in March 2020. Nick states that this is still the plan, with a roadmap detailing 2020 and beyond for the game also planned for this period. Moving on from this, Nick brings up a very important point which I've seen a lot of requests for in the Discord server, and I've heard issues through friends that I've spoken to that were looking to back the project. The team are currently in the process of overhauling QIsoftware.ca, and Nick makes it clear that they will soon accept hundreds of different payment methods, including PayPal. This is huge and gives people that don't want to enter their debit or credit card details a safe and secure way to support the game. QI Software is also looking at the possibility of working with a publisher to help maximize the quality and success of the project. Nick then follows this by saying that this would be ideal for them, especially before Steam Early Access. He then goes on to reassure us all that the team will not take any deal that compromises their artistic integrity or vision for the project. So, that's fairly straightforward so far, right? What Nick says next gets a bit technical. With me personally having no background in development work of any kind, I have to admit that I didn't particularly understand all of the details within this next section, but the basics is that the inventory system has been tidied up a bit, item data and weapons were overhauled to be more flexible and easier to work with, improving the workflow for development. Network optimization has been improved by cutting down the amount of data sent over the network, which has given some new capabilities with the interactive world elements. A data subsystem has been added to allow for a persistent world and support for SQL databases. Like I said, this is all a bit beyond my sphere of knowledge, but for anybody that understands the technical jargon, you can follow the link in the description to the actual blog post to see more on this, including some images on the coding involved. Lastly, Nick shows off some footage from recent work which he's done in the game to add procedural animation to weaponry, making it look much nicer when we were to move around with our weapon on our screen. In essence, as you can see in the footage, things look much less rigid than some of the older footage that you might have seen. However, there's still work to be done. One of the next steps for Nick is to implement proper motion mechanics that don't stutter. Currently, the planned implementation is simple harmonic motion. A link for this is included in the blog itself, so I've posted this in the description below if you'd like to read about it. On top of this, Nick has been adding leaning animations, a nice little feature which I'm sure we all use in firefights in other games. Lastly, Nick shows us an example of parallax scopes. These were in the project for quite some time, but due to the way the aiming offsets were previously set up, it was impractical to get them working on every single weapon. Nick has reworked this system entirely with universal compatibility in mind. Okay, time to take a look at the work from the rest of the team. Starting with Nomad, who has been working on further gameplay elements for the mines that have been highlighted in previous updates. To get around some of the obstacles that are presented to players, we'll have to utilize the pump system for gas and water hazards to clear a path that won't kill us. A note has been made that for the following video clips, sounds are placeholders or are missing entirely. This is a work in progress, obviously. This reinforces some of the other examples of puzzle solving we've seen already, such as in the police station, designed to make players work for their loot payoff. A-Biscuits has been continuing his work with vehicle systems. Work has begun on merging the new trailer mechanics into the main build of the game. The current attachment system is for testing purposes, but more will follow this in the future. Reggie makes a note here that trailers will follow basic physics, so we'll need to keep that in mind when we're tumbling off cliffs in our trucks. Alongside this, A-Biscuits has been working on making static, non-drivable vehicles more interactive. Players can shoot out tires and eventually will be able to open, close, and blow off the doors of vehicles altogether. Tweaks like this can often make the world feel more interactive, adding to that immersion factor. Gunslinger has been working on further AI behaviours, specifically the infected or zombies that we'll come up against. Their movement and horde grouping have received some love lately. The videos you're seeing right now showcases two hordes responding to and moving towards a target together by merging into a single larger horde. For the second clip, a note is made that the movement is not final. The infected here are moving faster than intended. Stefan and Tech Error have been finishing modelling and texturing for the HK416. This will be one of the rarer and more versatile weapons available for us to loot in-game. If there's any Escape from Tarkov players out there, I'm sure you'll be as excited as I am for this one. Rizzler wrote his own piece for this blog, detailing his work with cloth simulation in the Marvelous Designer program. The video below shows how his software provides a softer look to objects such as clothing and anything that uses fabric-based things. I've included the images and short video clip from this part of the post. You can read up on some of the finer points in the blog post itself if you'd like to know a bit more about how this was accomplished. Riz has also been working on baggage and clothes that players are going to find throughout the map. Clothing items on the ground use a similar simulation than shown with the canvas bag that you've just seen in the video. Shiny Haxorus has been hard at work finishing and texturing the P90, as well as configuring the C7 and 8 to increase its modularity by adding various attachments and mounting points. On top of this, Haxorus has started working on animations for some of the tool belt items that players will hold in-game, such as the compass. Animations for the SVD are on his list for the future, which I look forward to seeing, as well as some of the vehicle animations. Reggie himself has been busy working with various points of interest in Alberta, laying out the smaller stories and vignettes that we'll find whilst exploring the map. NPC dialogue has begun, notably with the voice actor for Duke Cartilage, the resident pirate radio broadcaster in Dead Matters, Alberta. Interestingly, Duke will notify us of incoming inclement weather, faction movements, and his own rather colourful take on the infection. Listening to Duke may not only be a cool way to pass the time, but also serve to give us key information. Eventually, Duke will become a mission-giving NPC, which players can choose to align with if they so wish. The ultimate goal, Reggie says, is for interactive NPCs to be fully voiced and have dialogue trees if players want to chat with them. He also says, naturally, that not all NPCs will be interactive. I wanted to make a note here, if you're a fan of my interviews that I've been doing with other developers, me and Reggie are now looking at scheduling one of these and trying to get you guys some more questions answered on the process that he's gone through regarding questing with factions, dialogue, stories, anything like that that he's implemented into the game. So hopefully we'll know a little bit more about this in due time. Shirk has been working further with collisions of buildings, levels of detail meshes, and doors and new lighting setup for buildings. Most buildings will have 3 power states, which will be powered, emergency power, or off. Emergency powered buildings will only be lit by limited battery powered lamps. The lights are sparse and will offer minimal light inside the building itself. It almost goes without saying that powered buildings will be fully illuminated and offer a bright and welcoming interior for players and infected alike. The infected are drawn to light and sound as well as seeing uninfected targets, so this is something we'll have to bear in mind when approaching well-lit buildings. The improved lighting system allows for greater variation in light colours and differences in spaces both in and outdoors, as you can see in some of the images shown now in the video. That's just about everything from me, folks, but if you've enjoyed it, please do consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more videos such as these. You can find more Dead Matter videos on my channel in my playlists. Also, you can stop by my stream at 2:30 PM UK time every day of the week, and you can talk Dead Matter with me there if you prefer. I hope to see you soon, guys. Have a good one.